people. All right, I did my test. I know it's working. I didn't want to sit here, talk for an hour, and then turn around and I play my video and there's no sound. Oh, I would have freaked out. I would have freaked out. So I said, you know what? Let me stop that first video. Just do a quick check on it. Make sure the audio's set up because I'm using my AirPods. Sounds good, by the way. All right. So here we go. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to explain. I just did my radio show from Sunday night at 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. It was the best show ever. There's going to be a lot that I'm going to explain towards the end. So right now, I'm gonna give you the facts. Okay, I'm just going to recreate the whole show, and that way, then even on top of it, I can give you guys the aftermath of what happened post my show because there's some drama along with that, right? So I love doing my show. First of all, it's called DC's Black and White, No Gray Zone. It was a podcast on E-Water Radio, right? My friend was doing a show on there, and she's a great person. I love her. I've known her for over 20 years. Her name is Tammy. For the purposes of my show, I didn't bring up her name because I didn't want to throw her under the bus or have her in any way, shape, or form. I didn't want her associated with what I was saying. But bottom line, all I did was I told the truth. And the owner, so let's back it up. I'm just going to start the show. All right, so welcome to DC's Black and White, No Gray Zone. And the way I usually rock my show is I got to play, a couple of things in the beginning. Then I start my show off with how to survive in South Central, a place where busting the cap is fundamental. No, you can't find the shit in the handbook. Take a close look. Anyway, so I play Ice Cube's not straight out Compton, Jesus. How to Survive in South Central, right? Love that song. It's just, it's who I am. It speaks to me, that song, right? It's a beautiful, beautiful piece. Anyway, so then I usually come in after my first verse. And then, so now I'm going to do what I did before earlier tonight. And this is my bad. I'm going to say my bad already because I should have thought to do a live segment. I just didn't think it would have gone the route that it did. You know what I mean? If I had known it would have gone this route, I would have done this. It's all good. Live and learn. Just another hour of my life. It's all good. So I say, welcome to DC's Black and White, No Gray Zone. And I wanted to, and what I love about being on YouTube is I can be real, 100% real. I don't have to worry about the standards and the cussing and somebody do what somebody doesn't want me to say. Boom, it's all on me. You know what I mean? And I love it. I love doing videos too, by the way. I wish it could be a little bit lighter, but every time my TV lights up, the lighting in this room is horrible, but it's okay though. You know what I mean? See when the lights up, you see how handsome I am. All right, listen. All right, let's stay focused. So I'm gonna pull up my notes, and I'm basically gonna start from what I did on my show, right? Okay. So I'm just gonna pull this right in front, and I'm still looking at the screen. Okay. So what I started out by saying was, if you've heard the show before, you probably believe that the owner and I are pretty cool. The owner of E-Water Radio are pretty cool. We're acquaintances, very friendly when we talk on the phone. So basically, you're going to have to color me surprised for the rest of the story. All right. Let's see. I have to go back to all the logistics so that you guys can truly understand what I was going through. And I don't want to say I was living under the tyranny of Ed. I don't want to say that. But the level of ineptness was just running rampant. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to take my notes out of my face. Oh, that's kind of cool. It keeps my note. Okay, so you know what's cool about that? When I have this up on my screen, it lights up my face. So I think I'll leave it like that. That's pretty cool. All right. So anyway, live and learn here, baby. I'm learning. Although I've done a couple of YouTube videos before, I never did this style. But you guys are going to be so interested when you hear the whole story. This is like the most insane thing. Okay, so the way E-Water Radio did things was this. First of all, Ed and I, we never met in person. I got the show because I did Tammy's show. I was a guest on her show, blew it up. I do what I do with my gift of gab. And I told her, I said, yeah, I do this show easy. I do my own show. You know what I'm saying? My own style of show, nothing like yours. And kind of got my juices flowing about it. Asked her a couple of times. She said, okay, well, let me, he's going to be kicking some people off. So I'll bring it up then. I'm like, all right, cool. Talked to Ed on the phone. Ed and I never met. I sent him a message, a verbal text on his phone. And he said 5 minutes in, he could tell. He's like, okay, this guy has the gift of gab. He's all good, which I do. So the way you know what? Let me turn this off because I don't even need the light from that. Because if this is lighting me up pretty good. I mean, it's not great, but wish I had another. I wonder if I could, let me see something. I bet you if I did this though, this looks crazy, right? This is my cell phone. Hold on one second. Oh, this is my dad. Let's see. It's pretty good, but the problem with that is I have to hold my phone. And I'm not about to hold my phone for an hour. Let's see if I did like this. Let me see if I set it down here. That's pretty decent. If I just set it down at the bottom of the screen. That's cool, right? It's a little bit better. All right. So anyway, it is kind of annoying. It's bright as fuck now in my face. All right. So the way when I spoke to Ed on the phone, he taught me what to do. Basically, you're your own producer. Um, I'm in control of my own content. I run the entire board from my computer and my cell phone, and that's how I go on the air. Okay. So it's a little bit overwhelming the first couple of times. I would mess things up here and there. Wouldn't play this. This didn't play. Blah blah blah. But it's all learning stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's no more than mess ups than anybody else ever did. Trust me, I believe that. I know that for a fact. So, but I always talk about my mistakes. Always. I laugh at myself on the air. If I mess up something, I bring it up to my audience and I let them know at the moment, hey, I'm supposed to do it this way, but I did it that way. Ha ha ha. I fucked up. You know what I mean? I don't have an ego when it comes to doing my show. In fact, my first two shows, I basically cut myself open and bled. You know what I'm saying? I was very vulnerable. And I let people see what I'd gone through growing up, trials and tribulations I've been through. And I wanted them to understand who I was as a person if you're going to keep listening to my show, right? DC's black and white, no gray zone. Anyway, so the whole point to this thing is Ed's basic uh his whole process is, well, I'm wondering what I should. Okay, let's talk about this. Okay, there's the other thing that you have to do. You have to advertise your show. Okay, so individually, like me, DC, I have to go on my Facebook, Instagram, advertise my show, text people that I know, advertise it. But also, he had our show on, I think it was like Roku, Fire, Fire TV, Fire Stick TV, a couple other things, Android and Apple TV. That's what it was. Those four. Streaming, streaming the shows. So, and I'm only going to speak factual here. I'm not going to talk about, I'm not going to BS anybody. I'm not going to lie on anybody. I'm speaking just factual. Now, my opinion will come at the end. I got an opinion, and I'll let you have it then. But as far as the facts, I'm only giving you the facts right now. Yeah. So When it comes to advertising, you basically, it's almost like if you're big into social media, you're probably going to have more listeners, right? Okay. Well, when I talked to Ed in the beginning, I told Ed, I'm not into social media. I'm not into showing people that I'm having a Caesar salad at Cheesecake Factory right now and it's got croutons. Who gives a fuck? Nobody gives a fuck if I have croutons or Thousand Island dressing on my salad. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? So I actually got into it with my sister one time. She posted, she's 5 years older than me, by the way. She posted a salad on, she goes, this is what I'm having for lunch. Da, da, da. And I looked at her post and I said, oh, excuse me. I said, why are you posting your salad on social media? And she said, people care. And I said, no, no one cares whether or not you have croutons on your salad or whatever. And she goes, they do care. And I was like, okay, next subject, whatever. Crazy person. She really believes somebody cares. You know what I'm saying? It's insane. But anyway, so um, I was only going to use this format right here just to tell the story. But at the end of my show tonight, I did a funny story. And I kind of ran through it kind of fast because I didn't have time at the end. But I can basically tell the story over again. I'm thinking, do I want to tell that story? Because it's a hell of a story. It really is, man. It's like it's off the chain. It'll make you laugh. I might tell it now. I'm thinking about it because there's a little education at the end that young men will probably uh, appreciate. So I probably will. But anyway, so I told Ed I don't have a huge social media following. You know what I mean? He was like, well, "That's okay. Text people, da da da." And then he has me, and then I put it on, and then he advertises on his page. Now this is a problem. Unless he's got like 500,000 people on his page following him, what are we doing? You know what I mean? The whole point to this whole thing was when he put us on his streaming. I think this happened in February or March. I think it was February when he put us on the streaming page, right? Um, his whole thing was he said when he put us all up there, he called me up and he was like, "Yo, you got 50 brand new listeners in 2 hours," and I was like, "Oh." He goes, I said, "Is that good?" He goes, "No, you don't understand." He said 50 new listeners, not people that you know, not people that anybody's listening. He said 50 in 2 hours. He said, "Bro, that's banging." And I was like, "All right, cool, cool." So this is where my status is. You know what I'm saying? Like, to be honest with you, I didn't say this on the show earlier. I have the best show on the station. And this isn't me shit talking any other show. Quality wise, content wise, I have the best show. Bottom line. No one's even a close second. Now, does another show have more listeners? Yes, no problem. Easy to admit because they spent their life fucking following strangers on Facebook and Instagram. I don't do that. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like, duh, you know, they're going to have more listeners, you know. Anyway, if when social media first started, I started, just befriending anybody who would accept me, then I'd have just as many listeners as some of these other shows. I'm not saying who, I'm just saying that's a popularity contest. That's not whether or not your show is good. Let's be real. Content matters. And if I start to fall asleep on somebody's show, is it really that good? Point being is this. Radio is entertaining. You have to entertain people. You have to be able to tell a story. You have to be able to have humor when you're telling a story. On a small level, somewhat what Howard Stern does in New York. The man could talk about his weekend on a Monday and he could have you laughing and he's just talking about stuff he did around the house. That's talent. To be able to take a story, turn it into something funny out of nothing. You know what I mean? And I've listened to him for well over 20 years. It could be even 30 years at this point, somewhere around there. I first heard him when he first came to Los Angeles. I think that was back in somewhere around like 1990. I think somewhere around there, 91, 92, wherever it was. But anyway, so that's that on that part, right? So you have the advertising that I'm supposed to do. Then he does his thing. But again, unless one of us has 100,000 people, we're not going to bring any big numbers in. Whatever. So my show I used to do once every other week on a Sunday night. I can pull it up on here. Where's Ed? I'm looking for his text message. And I'm hoping my text message on my computer have not been loading up. And I'm hoping that, man, and I think I went way too far now because I'm seeing people that I have blocked. Oh, man. Okay. You know what? Let me just see if I can find him this way. I just did a search. Oh, there he is right there. Is that him? There we go. Let's see. No, this isn't it. Okay. I'll find it. I have to take the light off my phone. And I'll find it on here because here it is right here. So I have it pulled up. I just didn't want to take the flashlight off me. But here, there we go. So let's see. This is part of the story. He says to me on, let's see, was it the 31st? Oh, no. It was Tuesday. Making some changes at the station starting September. I think he meant October, but it says starting September, your show will be on once a month. Do you want the first, second, third, or fourth Sunday? Right. I told him, I said, I'll take third Sunday, right? I said, what's behind the change? All he wrote was poor numbers. Okay, poor numbers. So that alone, I was kind of annoyed because it's almost like he's trying to say that I'm not pulling my weight. In other words, if you got poor numbers for any other reason than the content of my show, speak on it. Don't just throw out there and say poor numbers. So I didn't argue with him. Didn't say nothing. I left it alone. This is on Tuesday. So I'm doing my show tonight, right? Sunday night. I said, okay, put some notes together. Let's be real. Let's be honest. Let's just air our dirty laundry, right? So now that I pretty much think I explained everything before, now I think I can start reading some of my notes. And I didn't do this on the air either. I didn't read them. I just went off my mind. I was like, boom, 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 boom. I was like flowing, baby. I was flowing. But anyway, so here, and it's going to get a little bit technical, okay? But I've had a massive problem with the technical side of how the website is run. A few different things, okay? Imagine now anybody that's watching this probably doesn't they probably never listen to my show, so they don't know what I'm speaking about. But when you click on the link, this little window pops up like this. There's a play button in the middle, right? Then in the bottom right hand corner, there's a box that's sitting like this with an arrow coming out, right? No one knows that they're supposed to hit that little box. There's no instructions on there to say that. But anyway, I've had people toy around with stuff because they would have their shows cut off after 10 minutes, after 20 minutes, and then they have to restart the show all over again. They didn't know how to, skip ahead. So somebody, I forget who it was, told me, "Oh, I found out this is how you do it." Da, da, da. And I was like, "Oh shit, really? Like, why didn't the owner tell me this?" You know what I'm saying? He probably didn't know. But let's just say, whatever, he didn't. So, um, you know what? I actually want to open up my window because it's kind of warm in here and I have my sweatshirt on. But I'm gonna keep talking, okay? But I'm just gonna set this down right here, just for a second. I got all these pillows stacked, so you'll be looking at a bunch of pillows. There we go. Want to make sure I didn't flash my ball sack on the screen as I was getting up. Okay, here we go. Let me open this up. There we go. Let the air flow. Take a little sip of water, and now we're gonna get into the juicy nitty gritty. Okay, so this is me crawling back into the situation I'm in. There we go. All right. Bring this back over. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm feeling good. I can actually leave that flash kind of like sitting here. Let me see what it looks like. See, that's you got to see my face. You got to see it. All right. It's like a spotlight on me though, but damn. Anyway. So um here comes the technical side. And I love not like I kind of feel like when I'm on the air, I have to flow really fast. I have to keep it all tight. On here, I could take 10 seconds to get my thoughts together. I can, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of cool. I really do like it on here. I prefer on here more so than, set between a certain time that I have to be on and off the air by. You know what I mean? I could run this video for 2 hours if I want. It's not going to be 2 hours, but if I wanted to, I could do it. Anyway, so how are new listeners or even the listeners I bring into the station, how are they supposed to know to hit that little box so that this other little window will pop up and it's a line and then this little circle that goes across, you can drag that circle to like the 20-minute mark and it replays from where it cut off. Who knows all this? Nobody wakes up in the morning and goes, "Oh, this is what I'm supposed to do." Nobody, those are steps that's just like off the chain, like crazy. Okay. Um, there's another thing. Whenever I did the show on the air, there was a link for people to listen to the show, obviously, right? But then after the show was off the air, he would send me a whole brand new link. What the? It was some of the most ridiculous things that it was frustrating because, and I'm gonna get to it. So frustrating. He's sending me these new links. So what I used to do was people that I only knew personally, right? I kept in my email. It was like a list of all my shows, and then when he gave me a new one, I would just put it in on the bottom of the list. So I was just stacking all my shows in one email. They're probably all gone now, so whatever. And if I ever do another podcast, I'm just gonna start over. And now I'll be doing it from like a G because I'll probably do it on here. I'll probably have a situation set up to where I'm not so squeezed on time, and I'll be a lot more comfortable. I didn't like the tightness of having to do it from 8 to 9. You know what I'm saying? This little countdown thing that was popping off at the top when I'm doing my show. So I would have to kind of regulate how I would do things. Anyway, um, so here we go with the other part. So all these different links, right? Now, mind you, these are only for people that I know that contact me and say, "Hey, I didn't hear the show live. Can you send me the link so I can listen?" Oh, yeah, later on in the week, a couple of days later, same day, whatever. What about strangers? What about the new people? Mind you, everything I'm bringing up right now, I brought up here and there. I kind of sprinkled it throughout my shows, on my previous shows. You know what I'm saying? I never did a whole show on this shit. And tonight I did. I wanted to make a stand, and I'll tell you why, and you'll understand everything. When new listeners are looking for a show, the bottom line is I don't know why it's so hard. If you go on the website and try to find DC's Black and White No Gray Zone, it's the hardest thing to find. It's so ridiculous that it's hard to find the podcast show or any of my previous shows. How hard is it just to put all my shows on one page? How about you just have a search bar right at the top? And you want to hear Tammy's show? Punch in Tammy, all the Tammy shows pop up. Sound crazy, right? Whoa, crazy talk, right? If you want to hear DC show, you punch in DC, boom, all the DC shows pop up. Why do I feel like this station? I won't call Ed out on that part because I don't know if it's an engineer or if it's him or whatever. I don't know who it is. The way he reacted tonight, though, I think it's him. But anyway, I digress. Um, why is it I feel like he's making it difficult for new listeners to even find the show? And then you're gonna tell me that you're gonna cut my shows from 2 a month to 1 a month because poor numbers. I do good radio. I know for a fact. And let's just put it this way. I did the best radio on that station, the most interesting show on that station. You don't have to be a fan of me to enjoy my show. These other shows, they're very specific. You know, you have to be a fan of, I don't know, let's say religious music, or you have to be a fan of fitness and nutrition, or you have to be a fan of, trying to think of other shows around there, but just they're subject specific, which is fine. But my whole thing is you can play my show for any adult, and they will laugh. They will be engaged. That's what I do. I pull the audience in. I give them a good story. I give them laughs. I make fun of myself. I have no problem with that. I'm good with it. So, um, so it's damn near impossible to get a new listener to find the show afterward. And I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but I'll mention this real quick. After the show, he was sending a new link. And then what I would do is I would take that new link and put it at the bottom of my shows. I think I said that earlier. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I did. But I just want to make sure that that's out there. Now, here comes the meat and potatoes. When he tells me that my show is being taken out from 2 shows a month to one, I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is when I ask why, he tells me poor numbers. You got this Mickey Mouse organization, this jerry rigged bullshit. I have been giving this man, and saying it on the air, I've been giving this man great ideas as to how to make things more easier for new listeners to find shows. Simple as that. Let's call it what it is. Okay. For some reason, common sense is being batted away like a fly at a picnic. It's not what he wanted to do. And I don't know if it was extra money. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I was being honest on the show. I don't know if it's extra money. I don't know what he's paying as far as advertisers. I don't know. I don't know if maybe he doesn't have the money to do like advertising for his radio station. But I'm saying, like, if you listen to K-Day advertises their station. Okay. So I'm just saying, if you're not doing what the most that you could do, don't get mad at me. Because all I can do is bring in people I know. But if you're not giving me the forum to be able to pull in new people, then how the hell? The example I gave on the air was like this. It's like if I walked up to a McDonald's, right, in any big city, and I took a picture of the top left corner of the building, right, facing the street. And then I said, hey, I'm putting this ad in the recycler newspaper on page 18 with no address, no phone number. Come find us. See, this is my point. This is what he's done with the radio station. And then I turn around and I want to tell people I'm mad because my numbers are low. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Seriously? Don't blame the talent for your inept way of running a business. I'm calling a spade a spade. If you don't want to listen to common sense and you don't want to listen to good suggestions, which anybody listening can understand exactly what I'm saying, because any of my listeners know how hard it is to find just one show without contacting me directly. And they shouldn't have to do that. I should have one link that I carry with me. And when somebody asks for it, whoop, send them that link. They load up the link. Oh shit, DC's shows all pop out. Duh. Is it really that hard? I mean, is it really that like difficult? And it's funny because nobody at the station wants to say what I've said. I took it on the chin like a champ. I said it. You can only be nice so long. I didn't have nothing to say about nothing as long as things were going the same way. But as soon as you want to tell me you want to cut my show, I'm going to be real with you. Let's be honest. Nothing I'm saying in this video is a lie. It's 100% the truth. He didn't like the fact that I put this shit out there. That's what he didn't like. Now, if you go ask Howard Stern what good radio is, he would say it's compelling, dramatic, sometimes arguments, but just a good story, right? You can't argue with him. You may not like his content, but the man has more money than he knows what to do with. He's doing something right. You know what I mean? So I feel like Ed allowed his ego to get involved rather than shutting off his female emotions. And I didn't say any of this on the air, by the way. This is me post the show. But I feel like him allowing his female emotions to arouse within him rather than him sitting back, shutting the fuck up and actually listening to what I'm saying, processing it with his brain and going, wait, you know what? That is a good idea. Okay. So anyway, at like around 8:15 on my show, right? 15 minutes in, I'm talking. I get a caller and I look at the number and it's only a number, it doesn't show the name. So I grab my phone while I'm doing the show and I start punching in the number in my contacts, thinking if it's somebody I know, obviously the number will pop up. Well, guess who it was? Dun, dun, dun. Ed. Ed called me. He's sitting on hold. And I said, I will get to this caller as soon as I'm done with the story, because I wanted to go 100% and be 100% honest about everything. And then, because content-wise, if he just jumps in while I'm telling the story, now it becomes an argument and it's not really an organized forum. And I know how to have an organized forum. You know what I'm saying? Radio can't be like a clusterfuck. Everybody can't be talking over each other at the same time. It just sounds stupid. You can't do that. So my intent was to bring him on around 8:40 when I was done with all my talk, right, about it, which would have given him a good 15 minutes easy, or even longer to go if he wanted to. And shit, he's the owner of the station. I'm sure we could have gone past 9 o'clock tonight if he really wanted to. You know what I mean? He probably could have gone do, and it would have been done and we could have just gone on and on for what. Okay, so whatever. So because I don't take his call right away, I get a text at 8:20. And then let me read it to you real quick. Hold on. This text said at 8:20, please call me as soon as you finish with your show. Now, can I tell you something? Ed has never sent me a message asking me to call him during the show, after the show. He's never sent me a message during the show. Okay. I've done, I think tonight was my 14th show, I think. I've done a good amount of shows. Not once has he ever interrupted my show. I didn't take it as distracting at all. I was okay with it, but I kind of laughed because I was like, and I even talked on the air. So Ed doesn't want to. He doesn't want to come on the air. He wants me to call him after the show. And I said, so people, if this is my last show, then I want to tell you I love you. Thank you for your support. I appreciate you all, and hopefully you see me on the other side on a different station in the near future. My thought was, if Ed, this was a tester to see whether or not Ed was a true man's man. And if he could sit and just listen, take a little constructive criticism, and rock it and run with it. He couldn't do it. He had to react. Okay. So let me finish with, let me see, let me make sure I made all my points. Let's see. Yeah, I talked about the new listeners. Okay, yeah, that's good. Yep, talked about him giving me another link. What was this one? Okay. So basically, this is where I said on the air. I said, don't blame the artist for your failures. Don't blame the ineptness of your business on your artist. Blame yourself for not listening to someone who tells you point for point what's wrong with your system and or how difficult you make it for a new listener to find any goddamn show on the station. I was real, flat out real. I didn't lie. Now, he would say, I don't know what he would say, to be honest with you, but, and this is a point I made earlier, but I just want to make it because I have it written here. Here's a wild concept. One page devoted to every show versus new links before and after the show. Does that sound so complicated? And it's so crazy to anyone listening. It seems like the best way to have your page set up. But call me crazy. Call me crazy. Okay. So I went ahead and talked about the show, talked about how the website's messed up, how new listeners can't find your show. And by the way, isn't that the point? Isn't it the point to get new listeners? Not the people we have on social media and everything else. It's the new listeners. That's what you want to bring in. I mean, you could have your circle jerk of people that, you know, anywhere from 50 to 100 people listen every week. Okay, fine. But that's not really getting you anywhere. You know what I'm saying? It's new people, word of mouth. And him as the owner need to figure out a good marketing strategy and or a new way to advertise. Maybe there are ways of advertising without it costing an arm and a leg. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you really, if this is your dream and you want to do it the right way, get out on the fucking street, bro. Do what you got to do. Sit in a chair on Florence and Crenshaw with a giant sign advertising e-water radio. And that's just the most basic thing that just came off my mind right now. Okay? And in case anyone's listening to this Crenshaw and Florence is a pretty major intersection in Los Angeles. So there you go. So I said everything like that on the show. I said everything I needed to say. I made the point very clear that it's not the talent's fault when you don't bring in any foot traffic, when you're not willing to change anything to make things easier for new listeners to, dude, I don't know Joe Smith in Wisconsin who just tuned in and he wants to listen to DC's Black and White, No Gray Zone. How am I going to contact this guy and tell him how the website works? It's not like any normal website. That, hey, if you want to skip ahead a part of a show, if you listen to it and it shut down on you, whatever reason, power failure, your battery on your phone went dead, whatever. Well, I meant was power failure in the house, if that's what I meant. Just multiple reasons why your show would cut off. Maybe your phone just went black because you set it to 5 minutes. Don't stay lit up any more than 5 minutes. And in that case, you have to change the setting. And I've had to tell my people that too. But it makes no sense at all. I can't understand the level of mediocrity where Ed in his mind felt like he's cool. And his solution is take my shows down from 2 a month to 1 a month. Can anyone out there watching me right now tell me what would be the reasoning behind that? Please. Someone, write down in the comments how that's supposed to bring in more listeners with less shows. Oh my God, man. I don't know if he thought it was a punishment or whatever. I don't know. I really don't get it. The man's strategy blows my mind. So anyway, I thank my audience. Um, I was hoping that he would be a real man and he could actually listen to the show and he would actually um, react like a man rather than a woman on her period. So I call him up and he takes this deep breath and starts saying hello. And I said, first of all, did you love the show? That's what I said to him. I'm in a good mood. I just did a hell of a show. It was much more tight than what I'm doing here, but it was point for point, bang, 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 right? You know what he says to me? Do you think I deserve that? I said, I was taken aback by that statement. I said, okay, so by you saying that, you seem to think that I've done you wrong in some way. And he goes, yeah. And I went, explain. And then you know where he went? He didn't even want to explain because he knew he was wrong. He's reacting like a little girl who just got her first period. You know what I mean? So you know what he says to me? He goes, you obviously don't like the way I'm doing things on the station. So I wish you all the good luck in the world, blah, blah, blah. You know, nice words. And I'm sitting there smiling because basically what you're saying is this grown man who's started up a company, E-Water Radio, podcast, doesn't want to hear suggestions that would make his station better. Okay. Have you ever heard of anyone running a company and not listening to suggestions? They even in most companies, they have a suggestion box. This man put his ego in front of his business, and this is why it's going to fail. He can't just listen, shut the fuck up, take it all in. No, he sat there and stewed throughout the whole show, bothered himself, got himself all fucking concerned and bothered. And then his way of dealing with it was, well, I'm going to tell you, okay, cool. I'm glad you made it home. That's cool. See, I wouldn't have been able to do that on my radio show. You see what I'm saying? I could take my 5 seconds to answer some text on my Apple Watch. I love that. I love that, man. It's a beautiful thing. But anyway, so to me, it shows a true bitchy side. Now, mind you, I had never met Ed before and never met him in person. We talk on the phone a lot. Like we would have conversations like, about the show for like a minute, and then boom, we'd be on the phone an hour later talking about social issues and laughing and joking, and you know what I'm saying? I kind of felt like we would be really cool, you know. But see, I don't approach a man's relationship with me. I don't approach it in a bitchy way. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really tripping on that. Like, I don't feel like I should have to work extra hard to be homies with a dude. You feel me? Okay, if you want to act like a bitch, act like a bitch. I'm just being real. One, I did not lie. Two, I told the complete truth and I left no facts out. Three, I didn't even manipulate the story and change a few facts. And I literally told the truth, 100% facts. So he's the only man on this planet that's running a company that doesn't want to hear anything that could better his company. Imagine if every company was like that, how many companies would be going belly up and going bankrupt? I think it's a huge character flaw on his side that he couldn't just listen, take it in, and be like, you know what? That's a good idea, bro. I appreciate you. I mean, what the fuck? So anyway, so I think that's pretty much it. Let me run over my notes real quick. But it was a hell of a show, and I had to redo it on YouTube. Obviously, it doesn't have the same vigor, and because it's not, I don't feel the pressure of it being. Oh, I know what it was. I also said this about the. I thought the object of the radio show, you want to get new listeners. No one told me there was a popularity contest. Popularity contest means who who knows the most people on social media. You know what I'm saying? And I really do stand by that. I really do believe that I thought the concept was new listeners. Anyway, so I'm done with that. But I did my last show tonight, and he did not send me a link afterward. But it's all good because I swear to God, even though this show isn't as tight and flowing and free flowing as my radio show was earlier tonight, I feel like I made a very good argument on here. I feel like I explained myself, and I still don't feel like I did Ed wrong in any way, shape, or form. He may not have liked the way I delivered certain facts, but they're facts. And you know, I'm trying to figure out. I have no regrets. I have absolutely no regrets. I'm really happy with how I attacked this situation. And this is all about who I'm dealing with. That's what this is about. It isn't about what I said, it's about how he received my information or how he received the truth. Let's be honest. You know what I mean? So, say la vie. So, anyway, I ended my show on a kind of a funky story, right? That happened to me. Let's see. My daughter would have been maybe 3. So, this would have been 21 years ago. Yeah. I was in my early 20s, you know? And or mid-20s. I think it was in the mid-20s. So anyway, I'm driving down the street and I see this girl walking. And I pull over and I talk to her, right? She gives me her number. Boom. I call her up. She invites me over to her house first time. And it was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon when she invited me over. I'm like, cool, I'll be there. So ding dong, right? She answers the door in in a leather outfit with nothing but straps. Now, hear it again. Focus on what I said. Leather outfit with nothing but 100% straps. So let me explain what I mean by that. You know, where you would have a bra and cover up your nipples and your areolas? The titties were out. There were straps around her titties. Okay. You know, where you usually have a bathing suit covers right there, your pussy? Pussy was out. There were straps like this on the outer end where her hair, you know what I'm saying, going. And then when she turned around and let me in the house, she turned around and there's a leather strap going down the crack of her ass. All the ass is out. So I looked at myself quietly as I'm locking the door. You know, she said, lock the door. I'm finishing up an email. I'm like, okay. So as I turn around and lock the door, I go, oh yeah, I'm fucking. So I bought my Jimmys too. You know what I mean? So so she's sitting in her bedroom at her desk, typing out on the computer, and she's in this office chair, you know, kind that you could kind of swirl around in circles or whatever. So she gets done like 30 seconds, a minute after I get there. And I'm sitting on the bed silent and quiet, letting her finish. And she spins around in the chair. She goes, you want to see something? Ruby snack? You know what I mean? Yeah. Show me some Scooby snack shit. I'm ready to see what's up. So she grabs an aluminum baseball bat. Yeah, you didn't think the story was going there, did you? Yeah, you didn't think it was going there. She grabbed an aluminum baseball bat, turned that some bitch sideways, and stuck it straight up her candy ass. No, I'm joking. I imitated the Rock on that. But anyway, she took the fat end of the bat. You heard me. The fat end of the bat, and proceeded to work this motherfucking baseball bat into her pussy. Now, on the outside, I'm cooler than a cucumber, baby. I'm chilling. I'm looking like I've seen this before. You know what I mean? Show Big Daddy what you got, girl. You know what I mean? On the outside. On the inside of my head, I'm going, what the fuck? I'm saying to myself, I've never had a problem with size. I've never had a woman say, oh, you're too small for me, or, you know, pussy, you know, never in my life. But I thought to myself, it was the first time in my life where I ever said to myself, what the fuck are you going to do? You going to follow a baseball bat? For real? You know what I mean? Oh, man. Talking about my confidence was shook right there in that moment. But like a man, strapped it up and went to town, right? So I'm hitting the doggy style. And she's reaching back while I'm going in and out. She's reaching back, stroking the shaft. You know what I'm saying? It's cool, right? And it's sexy. A woman reaches back. She starts, you know, this is gravy, man. This is fun. I don't even think it was 2 minutes into sex. She takes it out. And as I come out, you know, I'm coming out and I go back in, she sticks it right up her culo. And at the same time, she lets out this, you know, this whole moaning. I don't know how women do it, but this, you know, thing. And I stopped and I went, wait, that doesn't feel, you know, as gushy as what I was just in. You know what I mean? So now I look down, I'm going, oh, I'm in the buttocks, right? And so trying to be a gentleman, I stop, I maintain, and I say, did you mean to put it there? And she turns around, looks me in the eye, and she's like, yeah, baby, work that. And I'm like, hottie, hottie, motherfucking hoe. Took the cowboy hat and started riding. I'm joking. So going to town, right? Now, me being a gentleman, I'm trying to be a gentleman, right? I'm thinking I'm gonna help her out. I take the baby oil, squeeze it on there, right in the hole, put some on me, go back to business, back to banging. Not even a minute goes by, and we're doing some heavy slapping. You know what I'm saying? We're both having fun. But for me, there's a different sensation. Something doesn't feel right. And so some of you are men already know, but again, you got to remember, I was like 25, 26 maybe. I don't know, somewhere around there. And I'm sitting there and I look down and I see the condom is now, like, let's say this is the head of my penis, right? And this is like the shaft that, where my hair is, right? Right here. The condom has now rolled itself all the way up to here and it's all just sitting here at the base of my dick. I freak out. Freak the fuck out. The the playboy, all left, went flying. I now turned into a hysterical white boy. I was like, "What the hell, girl?" You know what I mean? And I said, she turns around. She goes, "What's wrong?" I said, "The fucking condom is gone." You know what she says to me? Swear to God. Now remember, she's on all fours. She just turns around ever so nonchalantly and goes, "Oh, baby, you know when you put baby oil on latex, it disintegrates? Bitch, if I knew it, then I wouldn't have done it. Why the fuck would I put a condom on so that it could tear itself apart?" Now, mind you, I didn't say that, but up here, I'm going, "Are you fucking serious?" I was so angry. She was so not giving a fuck. Like her attitude was so, eh, you know, and I'm like, "Oh hell no." Okay, now mind you, I never fucked around with hookers. I never fucked around with strippers. I always made my way around them. I never wanted a piece of that. You know what I'm saying? This was not the typical woman I would usually fuck with, but everything was just so different with her, and I was still young. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, "Just check it out, homie." You know what I mean? But so that whole thing popped off, right? So now I leave her house. Obviously, I'm not gonna see her again. So I'm livid. Mentally, I'm all fucked up. Now I got to go to the doctor and get fucking checked for AIDS, herpes, gonorrhea, chlamydia, all that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm kind of a germaphobe that way. You know what I mean? So I ran to my doctor, and this is before. Remember back in the day when they couldn't, when they didn't have a problem asking if you had homosexual activity or any of that, like wasn't against the law. Now I guess it's against the law. You know what I'm saying? But back then, like over 20 years ago, man, they could ask you whatever. So I'm in there and I'm telling the man, "Look, I need a full panel workup. I want the A to the Z. And don't leave them none of them motherfucking initials out. Let's get it cracking, homie." You know what I mean? He's like, "Well, have you had at high risk behavior?" I looked at him and I said, "Bro, hook me up with the test." He proceeds to ask me, "Have you had any homosexual behavior?" Is that the only reason motherfuckers come in to get a fucking test done? Like for real, bro, you got an MD behind your name. Do I really have to say this shit? And he was a good doctor too. He's my favorite doctor, but man, I couldn't stick with that dude too much longer. I couldn't have that. Anyway, I told him, I said, "Look, man, I'm gonna be back every 3 months to get all these tests. So I already have them in the system." He's all, "Oh, you don't have to do that. You can come back every 6 months." I said, "I'm going to be back every 3 months, so have it in the system." "Okay, if you have to, exactly, motherfucker, I have to." You know what I mean? Damn. I mean, I wasn't feeling cool about that situation until like 2 or 3 years had passed. Anyway, I say this story to say to all the young men out there, don't fucking put baby oil on a condom because it's not something that people will tell you not to do. And the only way you learn is when it's too late. That's the end of DC's Black and White No Gray Zone. Thank you for listening.